Dear friends, welcome to ESE Engineering Academy, ESE online platform. You know pretty well, ESE Engineering Academy is one of the premier institutes in India giving the coaching for all technical examinations. Today, we are going to give the preparation strategy for the subject of engineering hydrology. GATE 2024 as well as Engineering Services 2024 examinations. Before we see the syllabus and important topics to be essentially covered in detail, we will see first of all what is the weightage of the subject. If you refer to the previous 5 years of examination from the year of 2019 up to the year of 2023, if you check out, generally last 5 years will be taking as the most standard time to refer to the previous papers also. 20 years back, 25 years back question papers need not be referred. If you see regarding the examinations, first we are giving about GATE paper. From the year 2019 to 2023, for engineering, hydrology and irrigation engineering, combinedly around 5 to 7% on the average. Of the entire paper, weightage for hydrology and irrigation engineering, combinedly called water resources engineering, weightage will be around 5 to 7%. Compared to the subjects like environmental engineering, around 9 to 11%. Geotechnical engineering is almost 13 to 16%. Engineering mathematics around 10 to 13%. Transportation engineering, including highways and railways, around 6 to 11%. Compared to these subjects, both hydrology and irrigation combinedly will have the weightage of only 5 to 7%. Simultaneously, why this comparison is being made is not the subject-wise importance. How to allot your time of preparation to the subjects of more importance, more time should be allotted. For the subjects of less importance, somewhat lesser time. If you have become thorough in most of the high weightage subjects, then you can give some more time for the subjects of less importance. Suppose if you got some special favor towards some subjects like which are having less percentage weightage, then you can be thorough with all those small subjects covering up to 40-45%, aptitude and mathematics approximately 20 to 25%. You can get a very good rank in GATE, even though I have not given sufficient weightage for the more important subjects. I am not discouraging or defaming these other subjects. I am telling about how you yourself have to prepare a own strategy plan, how to give the weightage as per your knowledge, as per your special interest toward the subjects, how to give the weightage for the subjects while you are preparing, because this is mid of October, November, December, January, exactly 3 months. Almost you can say around 100 to 110 days. 100 to 110 days is the time available for you. 15 to 16 subjects, 100 to 110 days. You can see within 4 to 6 days you have to complete the subjects. For more subjects, more weightage. This weightage is given from the last 5 years of papers. If you take, for example, engineering mechanics till last year is only 1% or 2%. Strength of only around 2 to 7. Hello. So, only by observing the last 5 years papers, only this weightage is given. If you, for example, if you refer further for the most fundamental subject like fluid mechanics, that is only around 7 to 9%. This is the percentage weightage of the entire paper, which is for 100 marks. 7 to 9%. Structural analysis, 4 to 5%. RCC, exactly 5% on the average of the last 5 years. Steel, 2% to 5%. I don't mean give less weightage to any other subject. What I mean to say, give proper weightage to all the subjects, allot more time of preparation, become more stronger in the subjects of greater weightage. For example, very popular rule is there in the GATE preparation. Every day, 3 to 5 problems of verbal aptitude. If you practice qualitative and quantitative aptitude, if you prepare daily 3 to 5 questions, within this 1 month time, by November 15th, you will become more and more faster in solving the numerical problems. Thinking about the question also will get improved if you start solving, if you have the regular practice of aptitude questions. Don't give less priority for the preparation of aptitude. Give good priority for engineering mathematics. 10 to 13%. Combinedly, you can understand the weightage of mathematics and aptitude. In aptitude, they are giving very tough questions. Questions of the standard much more than CAT standard sometimes, which is the famous exam for MBA entrance. So, environment engineering around 10%, GTE around 15%, transportation around 10%, engineering mathematics around 12%. Compared to them, hydrology and irrigation combinedly 5 to 7% average, 6% weightage. Today, we discuss the strategy plan, the preparation strategy for engineering hydrology. On some other day, we discuss about irrigation engineering topics. Please observe the subject's weightage. This is with reference to last 5 years of GATE examination. As far as engineering hydrology is concerned, Prerequisite for engineering hydrology is basics of fluid mechanics, basics of strength of materials, basics of geotechnical engineering. If you are good in these three fundamental subjects, when you start preparing for engineering hydrology, you feel at most of the topics at home because the concepts are somewhat interlinked. From starting from the fundamentals of these subjects, we enter into the corresponding or related zone of engineering hydrology. That's why I say prerequisite before you start the serious preparation of engineering hydrology. I advise you have some good knowledge of chapters of fluid mechanics, strength of materials, and GTE. Friends, if you are good in those three subjects, you can understand very easily fluid mechanics, say 8%, strength of materials, that is average is strength of materials, I did not write. Strength of materials 2 to 7%. So average I can take around 5%, 6% plus 5%, 11%, 11% plus around 15, 26% of the paper you will feel in hand, you will feel comfortable before you are attempting the questions of engineering hydrology. Take any subject or any topic, subtopic of hydrology, somewhere or other, some concepts of these three subjects will come into action. The three subjects are fluid mechanics, strength of materials, and soil mechanics and foundation engineering. If you are advised to be thorough first in these subjects before you touch engineering hydrology. As far as engineering hydrology is concerned, even though number of books are available, best book I feel for both theory and problems, K. Subramania. One of the pioneer books, the multiple choices given, multiple choice questions given at the end, numerical problems given in the chapters, exercises. At the end, wide variety of questions are given in the form of model tests. Highly, total theory is covered in the best way possible. So K. Subramania is one of the best books. I strongly recommend to refer to engineering hydrology from the various sources you may have by this time to prepare for engineering hydrology subject. Apart from that, try to procure the subject book, textbook. One textbook must be kept with you to refer to whenever a tough concept comes, whenever a dilemma comes regarding a question in the previous year papers. The answer given by those people might be wrong. You may get a doubt. When you read a particular word of the question, you may get the fundamental doubt. This cannot be the answer. So in such situations, standard textbooks will help a lot, will clear your doubts, will make your mind more and more exploring, and also you are able to get the best rank possible. That's why I advise to all the aspirants of GATE 2024. Of course, sufficient time is not there to refer to the textbooks, but better to refer to this book in case of clarifying doubts and also practicing. A to Z questions given in the exercises are important. I advise everyone not to miss a single question given in the Subramania textbook. Not to miss a single question given in the objective papers. That is highly essential as I feel with my experience as the senior faculty in ESE. Let us see what is the syllabus we are having in engineering hydrology. First chapter is precipitation. In this chapter, we will be studying hydrologic cycle, water resources in India, water resources over the globe, what are the different phases of hydrologic cycle: precipitation, evaporation, transpiration, evapotranspiration, interception, infiltration, percolation, depression, storage, and finally runoff. All these phases of hydrologic cycle, how the hydrologic cycle will give the distribution and redistribution of water on the ground, above the ground, and below the ground. How do you measure the rainfall? How do you measure the snowfall? Types of rain gauges normally adopted in India. The institutes which will govern, which will monitor the rainfall data. What are the rain gauges available? Standard rain gauges available. Merits and demerits of rain gauges. Merits and demerits of rain gauges. How do you represent the rainfall data? How do you represent the rainfall data? First method, hydrograph. Second method, mass inflow curve. Third method, depth, area, duration curve. Fourth method, intensity, duration, frequency curve. Fifth method, depth, duration, frequency curve. First two are very important. Third one is also to calculate the maximum depth of precipitation. It is also have got good importance. Fourth and fifth methods are not much in use. So what are the various methods available to represent the rainfall data also we study in this chapter? Suppose some data, some rainfall measurement is not possible at a given rain gauge station, say for some duration. With the help of the surrounding rain gauge stations, how do you mathematically interpret if that particular rain gauge would have been working? What would have been the rainfall data that I can interpret from the surrounding rain gauge stations rainfall data about the interpretation of missing rainfall data? Then how do you check the consistency of the rainfall data of a particular rain gauge station with reference to the data given by the surrounding rain gauge stations? About all these things we study in the first chapter called precipitation. For hydrology, one mark question or 2 mark question is expected from this chapter essentially. Second chapter, mean or average depth of precipitation. In order to estimate the average depth of runoff, average depth of rainfall is needed. Over the catchment area, there are 3 methods available as you know: arithmetic mean method, Thesian polygon method, and isohydral method. In what situations which method is relatively better? What are the merits and demerits, advantages and drawbacks of these methods? Second chapter deals with how to estimate P bar from the rainfall data of rain gauge stations available in the catchment. This is also somewhat important. Third chapter, frequency distribution of rainfall. frequency distribution of point rainfall. The rainfall recorded by a single rain gauge station. If I know the rainfall data of a particular station for 10 years, I can statistically guess about the future rainfall data. So friends, in this chapter, as you know pretty well, with the help of the past rainfall data, guessing, statistical guessing, logical guessing, mathematical guessing about the future rainfall data, that's what we are going to see in the third chapter. Third chapter is also not a most important one. Compared to the 1 to 3 chapters, only in the first chapter, more we can give the questions. And occasionally, they will give the question here. Here, very rarely, of course, in 2021, they asked 2022, they asked a question. So, the first part of the syllabus is this. When we see the second part of the chapter is abstractions or losses. Fourth chapter is regarding evaporation. We know evaporation is the loss of water from the water body in the form of vapor, transpiration, and evapotranspiration. In this fourth chapter, we see from the plants loss of water transpiration, from the land and the surrounding plants evapotranspiration, from the water bodies loss of water in the form of vapor is called evaporation. This is one of the losses. The fifth chapter is infiltration. In fourth chapter, in the topic of evaporation, what factors will control the evaporation rate? How do you measure the rate of evaporation? What are the methods available? What is the empirical formula available for the measurement of rate of evaporation, that is Dalton's law? Then, what do you mean by evapometer? What are the empirical formulas? How do you apply conservation of mass principle? How do you apply conservation of energy principle to measure the rate of evaporation indirectly? About the methods of measurement of rate of evaporation we study here. Transpiration is not that much important. Only thing, it is only during sunlight hours, it is more prominent, and it's the loss of water from the leaves of the plants in the form of vapor. Evapotranspiration, we study about potential evapotranspiration, actual evapotranspiration, some information about heredity index. How does the moisture content influence the evapotranspiration values? At PWP, evapotranspiration becomes zero because there is no soil water available readily for the plant. At a field capacity, your potential evapotranspiration becomes maximum. Your AET becomes maximum equal to PET. So, moisture content of the soil will be controlling evapotranspiration. Fourth chapter is relatively for 1 mark. The question is important. The topic is important for 1 mark. Infiltration. What are the various methods of measurement of infiltration? What do you mean by infiltration process? Entry of rainfall water during the time of rainfall into the subsoil zone to meet the soil moisture deficiency. Especially in this particular topic, about phi index and W index questions are expected. W index and phi index. Average rate of infiltration, effective rate of infiltration, and about the infiltration process also. Here also, if the question is not given in this class, one question may be expected here, 1 mark or sometimes 2 marks. So fourth and fifth, my dear friends, they deal with losses. Input to the hydrologic cycle is 1 to 3 chapters. Fourth and fifth chapters are giving us the losses. Then Sixth chapter, precipitation minus extractions will give the runoff. If a precipitation is the inflow, minus losses will give outflow for the catchment, which is called runoff. Runoff is greatly influenced by catchment characteristics. Even though there are 7 to 8 methods available, most mathematical method, most reliable method is hydrographs. So about the runoffs and hydrographs, I feel most important of the entire subject. All these flowers are going to the 8th chapter. A to Z, you must be thorough regarding hydrographs. What is flood hydrograph? What is a direct runoff hydrograph? What are the components of the flood hydrograph and direct runoff hydrograph? What are the methods available to separate base flow from flood hydrograph to get DRH, direct runoff hydrograph? What factors of the catchment will influence in what way in order to get the shape of the hydrograph? What are the various methods available to calculate the area of DRH, by means of which you are able to calculate direct runoff depth R? R is the R value we can get from infiltration. R is equal, we know from the W index and phi index, you can calculate the runoff, direct runoff depth very easily. That is from the infiltration chapter. Here from concept of hydrographs we get direct runoff depth. This is there is the measurement indirectly, here the measurement directly. To calculate R by means of hydrographs, by some method, calculate the area of DRH. If you assume it is a trapezium, half into base period into Q peak. If it is a triangle, if it is a trapezium, half into B plus T multiply with QP. Simple formulas. If you feel that it is a curve with equal time intervals of ordinates of direct runoff, apply trapezoidal rule. More accuracy, Simpson's 1/3 rule. There are 7 to 8 methods available to calculate area of DRH, very, very important. I am telling about the subtopics of chapter hydrograph. Once you calculate the area of DRH by area of the catchment will give the direct runoff depth. Once I know direct runoff depth, for the obtained DRH, runoff depth is R centimeter. If we assume the runoff depth is 1 centimeter, what will be the shape of the hydrograph? That is the concept of unit hydrograph. Unit hydrograph is nothing but direct runoff hydrograph of runoff depth 1 centimeter for a given rainfall of some uniform intensity for some duration, uniformly existing on the entire catchment. Like that, we are giving the definitions. And in this, apart from flood hydrograph, direct hydrograph and unit hydrograph, S-curve hydrograph is important. Without the rainfall and runoff data, construction of hydrograph by synthetic unit hydrograph, when the rainfall is of infinitesimally smallest duration, a purely fictitious concept of instantaneous unit hydrograph. So, flood hydrograph, direct runoff hydrograph, base flow hydrograph, unit hydrograph, S-curve hydrograph. We are given 2-hour unit hydrograph. They will ask a question. Given 2-hour unit hydrograph, can you get 1-hour unit hydrograph? Yes. Only option by S-curve technique. Given 1-hour UH, construction of 2-hour UH, I can use S-curve hydrograph, I can use principle of superposition. So what are the methods available? What are the procedures to be adopted for a single rainfall, for 2 or more rainfalls consecutively? How do you get the resultant flood? So different mathematical methods are available to estimate runoff from the given catchment as a result of some rainfall of some intensity I for a duration of D. Duration of D. So in the entire 13 chapters or 12 chapters or 13 chapters, most important chapter, gunshot question in the gate paper is hydrographs, especially given 2 hour UH, how to convert for 4 hour UH, especially given DRH ordinates area of the catchment. In the topic of important questions, we discuss all the important models, but do remember, register in the mind, be thorough 100% regarding hydrographs chapter. Gunshot 2 marks question is available here. 2 marks question is gunshot. Sometimes even 2 questions also, 1 theory, 1 problem. 5-6 times it has been given like that from the chapter of hydrographs. 9th chapter, maximum flood estimation. From the catchment area, from the location of the catchment, there are some empirical formulas. There is a rational formula also for small catchments. There is Gumbel's extreme value distribution to estimate the peak flood for a given return period, capital T. Other methods are not giving that choice. Only Gumbel's extreme value distribution, apart from other methods like normal distribution, log Pearson, Pearson type 3 distribution, etc. We follow, we have Gumbel's extreme value distribution apart from the empirical formulas. So far, in the last 5 years, no question has come from this 9th chapter. 10th chapter is flood routing. Every one of us know, if you know the inflow hydrograph at upstream section, how to construct outflow hydrograph at a downstream section. Having inflow hydrograph, obtaining outflow hydrograph is the process of flood routing. In that we got simple theory of reservoir routing, and somewhat mathematical importance is given for channel routing, or there is Muskingum method is there, somewhat important. So sometimes a question may be expected. I am giving only 1 star for the chapter of flood routing. 11th chapter is well hydraulics. For ESE examination, very important. For gate examination also, very important. In this chapter of well hydraulics, availability of groundwater, changes in the groundwater storage as per the changes in the groundwater table, types of geological formations based on the property of porosity and permeability, that is storage capacity and drainage capacity of the formation. How Darcy's law will influence flow through a geographically porous medium. Aquifers, types of aquifers, relation between porosity, specific yield, specific retention, permeability and intrinsic permeability, Thiem's equation, Dupit's equation. For the confined aquifers, we adopt Thiem's equation. For unconfined aquifer, to calculate the discharge from an unconfined aquifer by means of a radial well, we use the Dupit's equation. Assumptions of Dupit's equation, assumptions of Thiem's equation, mathematical formula for discharge, formula for radius of influence of a given well for a given aquifer. Permeability is the most important factor that will control the radius of influence. How the intrinsic permeability will be controlled by properties of the soil. Permeability is controlled by properties of soil as well as properties of water. All these important information about the wells, yield of the wells, how the well get discharged, how the well get recharged, test of recuperation, time taken for the water level to rise up to the certain extent when you stop pumping operation of a well. Properties like specific capacity, properties like storativity, properties like coefficient of transmissibility. In all aspects of both theory and problems, problem can be expected on time of recuperation. Or how do you calculate specific capacity from time of recuperation? How much is the discharge coming from a radial well and penetrating into the confined aquifer? Different numerical problems, from simplest to the toughest. More complexity, more complicatedness will be available in the numerical problems of well hydraulics. If you want to masterize engineering hydrology, first concentrate hydrographs, well hydraulics, apart from, of course, precipitation. Precipitation is the basic subject. Unless otherwise rainfall comes, runoff will not be there, groundwater storage will not get accumulated. Precipitation, hydrographs, well hydraulics, all the three are the most important chapters from which you will get minimum 5 marks. Out of 100, 5 marks is not a joke, it is a good amount. Remaining 2-3% marks will be given from irrigation engineering, which is of least weightage only in the recent years for 2 marks to 4 marks. Earlier it is only 1 mark to 2 mark. Anyway, that is a separate subject. Then we got the last chapter, 12th chapter we got. How do you measure flow parameters like depth of the flow, area of the cross section of the flow, local velocity, mean velocity, discharge? What are the various methods available? Which one will have more advantage? Which one will have less advantage? All such things are needed. Friends, once again I am telling you, if you see the syllabus, give top priority to hydrographs. Second top priority to precipitation. Third top priority to well hydraulics. These 3 topics, very, very important. Next priority to evaporation, transpiration chapter, mean depth of precipitation, and then frequency distribution and infiltration. Evaporation, infiltration, any one of them compulsory 1 mark or 2 mark. From here 1 mark or 2 mark. From here 1 mark or 2 mark. From here minimum 1 mark or 2 marks. So if you take 4 chapters, minimum 1, maximum 2. So in total if you take minimum 4, maximum 8. But 8 is not, very rarely has given 10%. So you can say up to 7 or 6% is the maximum weightage. 1, 2, 1, 2. Then you will get 6 marks. 2, 1, 2, 1. You will get 6 marks. I am just telling you why those chapters are to be thoroughly revised. Why should you be more and more thorough in those chapters? Everything depends on review of the previous year question papers. Review of the previous year. We are studying everything about the rainfall, its movement into the ground, its movement back to the atmosphere from different sources, its movement on the ground, from that estimation of the runoff, from that if you are able to get the effect of 2-hour rainfall, how do you guess mathematically? How do you produce effect of 4-hour rainfall, assumptions of hydrographs, linear response and time invariance. So don't forget the subtopics. And also you must remember when you are preparing, some important concepts you must keep in mind. Let us see, first of all, what is the strategic plan you should develop. As I told you, first priority I am telling you hydrographs, second priority precipitation, third priority well hydraulics, fourth priority evaporation and infiltration. It is not, these 4 and 5 chapters are not inferior, but question will come only from one of the chapters. Mostly from first chapter, rarely from second chapter. In the recent 1 or 2 years time back, the question from third chapter has come. Is all this is only for information. Then how to prepare? Everyone will have their own plans. You need not deviate and develop a new plan. In this last 110 days, if you start developing a new plan, it is again a setback to you, setback to your GATE result. But some important precautions and some important measures must be taken by you. What is the preparation strategy that you should develop? Please remember this. First of all, you must understand thoroughly about the GATE exam pattern. Three types of questions will be there: MCQ, MSQ, NAT. MCQ is okay. MSQ. Suppose if you come across which of the following statements are correct, you will get the answer C. Same question will be given, which of the following questions are not correct, incorrect. Pick out the incorrect statement in brackets, yes. Statement or statements. As C is the only correct statement, A, B, D will be the new answer for the question. If you see any of the previous papers of GATE, any of the previous papers of ESE, you will come across a question given with a positive way of questioning has now getting changed to MSQ with more number of answers. Their correct statement, single statement, or 2 statements are correct. I may give both A and B here, neither A nor B, like that. That's why I advise you, whenever the assumptions are coming, whenever the drawbacks are coming, you must be thorough once, twice, thrice. Assumptions of Darcy's law, or sorry, limitations of Darcy's law. Reynolds number should be less than 0.1. Flow should be laminar. Medium should be homogeneous and isotropic. So there may be some similar type of statements may be available. You should not get confused or should not get trapped by the paper setter. Assumptions of Dupit's equation, Thiem's equation, definitions for various quantities, instruments used for measurement of various parameters. What device you use to measure atmospheric humidity, relative humidity, rainfall, evaporation, transpiration, evapotranspiration. You got about all the types of how do you measure the wind velocity, how do you measure the surface velocity of the flow. So like that, you must be able to develop the strategy. First of all, be thorough with the GATE exam pattern, numerical aptitude, up to what decimal generally will mention. MCQ, MSQ, NAT. Every theory question or problem given for MCQ, with a slight conversion it can be made as MSQ. Your danger is lying only in MSQ. More easily we can solve MCQ. And with good practice of numericals, you can very easily surpass in attempting NEAT, numerical type questions. Only one thing, up to 2 decimals, up to 3 decimals. So like that you must be careful in giving the answer because it is the fill up the blank. Only the way you write will decide whether the answer is correct or not. It is highly essential to understand thorough understanding of GATE exam pattern. My second information I want to give, before you start any subject, my dear friends, do self-assessment, self-evaluation. वो सब्जेक्ट में आपको कहाँ तक आ गया है, कितना डेप्थ तक, 40%, 50%? You have missed that subject in BTech by chance or by choice? Are you zero in that subject? Are you 90% in the subject? If you are 90%, see what is its weightage. 5 to 7%, 90%, yes, by revising within one day. Revising because you already procured 90%. You are good enough. Theory and problems of that subject. So if you are able to make little bit practice, आपका रिजर्व बैंक, आपका सेविंग्स बैंक को और 5%, 6% ऐड कर सकते हैं. Subject by subject, do your self-assessment, do your self-evaluation before you start the preparation, before you decide the intensity level of your preparation of the subject. Intensity level of the preparation of the subject. अभी तक नहीं पढ़ा, and the subject you got some good idea, go for it. अभी तक नहीं पढ़ा, आपको कुछ भी नहीं मालूम, you don't know anything about it, don't touch it. Don't touch it. It is just like getting married to a new stranger that comes across you on the road. Next 1 hour, your marriage, and you want to get married with a person on the road. Only God will save you. You may be lucky, I don't know. Don't depend on luck, first of all. Have the clear-cut plan, prepare one white chart on the board. Write down all the 16 subjects, starting from engineering, mathematics and aptitude. First, engineering, mathematics and aptitude. Then basic subjects, strength of materials, fluid mechanics, geotech, environmental, transportation. Then remaining subjects. Whatever subjects you take apart from these 5. Strength of materials, fluid mechanics, because thoroughness in these subjects directly or indirectly will help in other subjects also. I am telling you once again, first and second, maths and aptitude. Develop the habit of every day answering 3 to 5 questions in aptitude. Every day morning, once you make the brushing of the teeth, have a cup of chai, sit, practice 5 to 10 questions. We got time. Take a model paper, take a tough topic, try to answer aptitude questions. Check your answers. Be satisfied if you got the good answer, good score. Be more and more thirsty and hungry if you are not able to get the correct answers. Try to explore to more and more depth in that particular subtopic of aptitude. If you are thorough with the maths and aptitude, almost 25 to 30 marks, 25 marks minimum. Sometimes 30, 35 marks also, 15 plus, around 30 marks, that will be in your pocket. Most of the people neglect aptitude. Most of the people neglect mathematics. Unnecessary phobia some people develop. Some people will develop overconfidence. Partial differential equation they have studied. Yeah, kar sakte hain, karenge. Yeah, I know. If you don't have the practice, there is nothing like I know. So, second one is do self-assessment, self-evaluation of each and every subject. Make self-evaluation of every subject before you start the preparation. Before you start the preparation. Once you complete the self-evaluation and decide, in this week, these two subjects I want to make some more thorough. In the environment engineering, air pollution, a very lengthy chapter, at the same time important for GATE. Remember, noise pollution is not there for your GATE, only for ESE. And that much time is not there. Just go through fundamentals, go through PYQ, then depend on your luck. If you feel that the particular topic is totally new, be somewhat detached from that subject, except go through PYQ, remember the answers. I'm not trying to make you cheating. I'm trying to tell you in what best way your preparation can become lighter for your mind and you are able to get more and more marks comfortably. That's only my intention. If you feel my strategy is wrong, don't bother. Oh, don't bother. The rule is only boss is always correct. I am not the boss. I am only your guide. I am only your guide, just like a mentor. You need not 100% stick on to the advice of the mentor. If you got good plan, better plan, adopt it. If you feel this plan is better, try to come to this plan. But whatever is that, ultimate is only your success. Nobody bothers how you got the success. They see only whether you got the success or not. If you got good luck, abracadabra, A. Buddha Bhagwan, B. Some chai ka favorite, C. Like that. If your luck is giving a good kick, but statutory warning, don't rely on luck. Statutory warning, like cigarette smoking, alcohol drinking is injurious to health. Statutory warning, don't depend on luck. Develop the plan. Make the flow chart, plan chart. What subjects? First revision, all 16 subjects over. Second revision, level 1, level 2 questions, PYQ GATE, PYQ ESE. PYQ GATE, PYQ ESE. Tick ho gaya means even if you are sleeping, your younger brother comes and wakes you up, open the book, GATE paper, he will ask the question, you should be able to give the answer. It's not mugging up, it's keeping the things in your storage. That particular subject may be of your favorite, may be of most unfavorite subject for you. Still, if it has been touched by elders in the previous years, that may be retouched again, because any paper setter will see once or twice the previous papers, mode of examining the aspirants in different aspects of in different subjects of civil engineering. So the third one is prepare subject preparation chart, like theory, level 1 problems, numericals, level 2 numericals, PYQ GATE, PYQ ESE. Do smart study by preparing short notes. You should, with your own handwriting, you should prepare your short notes for every subject. Whether you like it or you dislike it, you should prepare your own short notes. That is highly essential. GATE and ESE, I have written here, GATE and ESE, Mock tests, don't forget. From the first week of November till the end of the January, wherever you come across the mock test, try to attempt. Whether it's 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000. After all, 1,000, one paneer butter masala, one veg fried rice. 1,000 का नोट गायब. 1,000 को अभी नहीं है, गायब. 500 notes. If you attempt the mock test for 1,000 rupees, around 20-25 tests, how many times you come across all the 15 subject syllabus? Are you following my words? With just by spending 1,000 or 2,000 rupees, all the effort, all the strain, all the stress you have undergone for 4 years of BTech and 1 year of preparation, around 1 lakh of the fees, around 20 to 25,000 rupees books, about 5 years of your valuable time of the life, everything can be highlighted, can be enlightened and be enhanced with a grand success in GATE if you are able to write more number of mock tests. Check the time, start with the time sense, exact time of 3 hours, in what best way you are able to reflect your knowledge in answering the mock tests. If you are able to do like that, nobody on the earth can surpass you. You will become number 1, All India GATE rank number 1. People will come and ask for your interview. Ask you for a selfie. Please understand. Only success comes with you. Not the method of success. Not the mode of success. Whether you got success or not. So try to write as many number of, I'm not writing mock tests, as many as possible. As many as possible. Finally, get good contact with virtual calculator. Have the good practice on virtual calculator. I observed even the toppers also sometimes used to say they got some problem in this. To the extent possible, I have tried to give you some plan of study, and you can develop your own plan also depending on your plus points and minus points, strengths and weaknesses of the different subjects. And on behalf of ESE online platform, ESE Engineering Academy, we wish everyone best of luck, and they should produce the best results, and they should bring laurels to their institutes. To the parents first. For the parents, for the strain they have undergone in bringing you to this status. Good luck to you. Tomorrow 6 to 7, we are going to have the important questions on engineering hydrology. It's a purely question-oriented program, question and answer-oriented program. Tomorrow, 18th, 6 to 7 p.m. Thank you very much for kind listening to me. And don't think that it is the master plan. It is one of the preparation strategy plans. Plans are many. Success is only one. Good luck. Thank you very much.